Welcome, everybody, to Studio 214, the show where college students take on bigger than college topics. My name is Hello Karen, and these are my hosts, Cynthia and Malachi. For this episode, we're going to be talking about film. What do we like to watch? Who are our favorites in the Hollywood scene? Find out all that and more on this episode of Studio 214. So there's so many different genres of movies out there, but let's get into what our favorites are. Malachi?
My specific favorite movie genre as of right now is any type of movie that kind of gets your brain going. I guess you call it like a thriller, or I like horror versions of it because most of the movies that are horror thriller now will have something that you don't understand, or like a monster that you don't understand, and then they try to explain it in like the last like 10 minutes, and hopefully it makes sense. Some of them don't make sense. I watched a movie on Hulu a couple weeks ago called No One Will Save You, and it was like an alien movie, and it was one of those movies where you're kind of kept in the dark and you don't understand what's going on, and then at the end still don't understand what was going on. My grandma texted me and was like, have y'all watched this? And I was like, yeah, I definitely put my eyes upon it. I don't understand what happened with it, but yeah, does any movie that basically like kind of toys with your brain, like makes you think you're going one way but then like cuts you in the other direction at the last second,
Keeps you on the edge of your seat.
exactly, it has to keep me interested. But I mean, I think I like every genre just as long as it's interesting. What about you, Cynthia?
I'm a big sucker for comedy. I love, obviously love to laugh, and just a good heart feeling of it. And also mystery, like anything with like puzzles or something that will kind of keep you on edge. I don't really like horror, but like just the mystery aspect of it, and especially if you can like combine comedy and mystery with it, it's my top tier, honestly.
What type of comedy do you like? Because there's so many different types of comedy.
Yeah, I don't know, kind of like a mixture of, good heart feel comedy, slapstick and it like kind of like the craziness, like just kind of
Like random.
yeah, just random
Yeah.
stuff like that, and
Yeah.
also like just weird situations. Are really my favorite.
It kind of reminds me of the movie Grown Ups, kind of like
like that.
that one isn't like too like raunchy, but it's like in that middle ground of like heartwarming because it's about like family dynamic, but then it's also like a random situation, like why is this guy going down a zip line by his legs only, and like it's like random things that you wouldn't have thought of that are really, really funny. What about you?
That's literally, me, like I love comedy, but like raunchy comedy, stuff that's obvious, stupid, and you don't want the kids to watch it with you, but I just enjoy a good laugh.
Yeah.
Like seriously, that's my top. And then I also enjoy like a good thriller. I don't want to watch people get chopped up, or tortured like Saw.
Yeah.
No. But a good thriller, I'm good with that. Romance, that would be my top.
Like your top
ones.
3.
Yeah. But we've talked about the movie, the genres, but let's talk about the actors, our favorite actors, actresses, the people that make these movies.
Sounds good.
So Malachi, you get it started.
So I'll start with my favorite directors. So there's one director, his name is Ari Aster. He is known for, he's only released I think 3 official movies. They're mostly in like the horror thriller scene. He's released a movie called Hereditary, which is known for like being one of the scariest movies of the current times, and then Midsommar, which I think is my favorite out of the 3, and then he just released one last year called Beau is Afraid with Joaquin Phoenix, and that one was all right. It wasn't really well known because like the advertising for it wasn't really pushed out there or anything, but I really like his creative direction, especially when it comes to horror and thriller stuff like that, because it's more of like an unsettling feeling. It's not like a I'm gonna jump scare you every 5 minutes. It's more like I know in Hereditary there's a scene where someone gets possessed, and usually in possession movie it's like they call the priest in, and they're like, we're gonna rebuke you, da 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 da.
Yeah.
No, there's a scene where the son walks into the room and he's looking for her, and there's no music or anything, so it's just stale static white noise, and she's like in the corner like of the roof just watching him, kind of like the Grinch. Like, you remember the Grinch where he's like, he jumps down on Cindy Lou? Yeah, that's what she was doing. But there was like she was standing there, and then he didn't know, so he just like walked out. Like, I love stuff like that where you have to be paying attention to get that horror element to it. Someone that's in one of the Ari Aster movies, her name's Florence Pugh. She's really, really good. She's like she's newer to the scene, I think. I don't know what her first film was, but the first film I saw her in was, technically it was Black Widow. She's Black Widow's sister. Yelena, I think is her name in the movie. But my first one that I saw her in was Midsommar, and that one was really, really good because she conveyed a lot of emotion in her role. And now she's like in basically everything. She was in Oppenheimer. She was in Don't Worry Darling with Harry Styles, all that stuff. So she's on the come up. And then another person that I think is really, really good is Jordan Peele.
Oh, yes.
He's really good. I like how his movies all feel the same, but like in a different font.
Yeah.
Like he's only released 3 movies, again, kind of like the other director, but he has Get Out, Us, and Nope.
Oh,
and
yeah. Us is...
They're all
creepy.
good, and to me, like, the horror element is just right, because then he also balances it with like themes of like racial injustice and stuff like that, but he doesn't like throw it in your face. Like Get Out is more of like a literal one, because it's literally about like the main guy going to a primarily white family and getting auctioned, but like Us and Nope also have themes of that, and I like how he casts African American actors and actresses as their main roles. And that's another person that I like is Daniel Kaluuya. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Every single movie and TV show he's in, I have enjoyed him. Most of the stuff he's been in is serious. He was in Black Mirror, and he was very, very serious about that.
Yeah, I like Black Mirror.
He was in obviously he was in Get Out, and he was very like serious. There were some comedic elements, but he wasn't like that. But one of the ones that surprised me about him was the movie Bullet Train. I don't know if y'all have watched Bullet Train. It has Brad Pitt.
Yes.
I've heard of it.
And it has like there's a random bunch of Hollywood actors. And I watched it on a plane when I was flying to San Antonio. I was like, you know what, let's just watch this. It'll be fun, I guess. It's just a little like, I'm just throw it on. When I tell you I was so locked in and invested in that storyline, because he was like, those movies where it's like a duo cop, like good cop, bad cop. It was kind of like that, and they were so good. And no, Daniel Kaluuya wasn't in that.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
That is the other person that is in those movies, and I do not remember his name, but I get them confused, and that is a good thing to remember, because people get them confused. I work at a movie theater, and someone said, "Oh, you look like Daniel Kaluuya, and you were in this movie," and it was not a Daniel Kaluuya movie. But I don't know why I confused that. That's so funny. But Bullet Train is a good movie.
It is a good movie.
What about you?
No, I like Wes Anderson films, and I was just thinking that my favorite actress is Sandra Bullock.
She's really good.
And like Johnny Depp is also my favorite actor. But that kind of comedy aspect that Sandra can just, like, every film that she's in, she's just fantastic. And but also what I love about Wes Anderson films is just his way of directing, like the having the scenes that he makes, the colors, the color palette is just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, one movie that I wanted to see but I haven't seen it yet is Asteroid City. Just because it has a lot of good actors and actresses in it, but like the trailer was so visually pleasing, and you can tell it's a Wes Anderson film just from the shots that he does. It feels very like a retro dystopian, like Nuketown type thing. Like, I know, like, when I watch a movie or if I see a clip from any Wes Anderson film, I can nail it down.
That's the beauty of him, that he has his own signature. And you can tell, especially like through TikTok, like how everyone was trying to copy the Wes Anderson, like a style of making like a video. But I also love Steven Spielberg. Excuse me. But just like his mind and how he directs movies. I mean, just a lot of his movies are just obviously classics.
Yeah, they're the certified classics.
It's just like
He
just
owns,
to be in like the room with him and like bouncing off ideas with him, most likely it will be a thriller, honestly.
And with Steven Spielberg, the concept of his movies are so like simple. At least in my eyes, they're simple. Like Jurassic Park and Jaws, and they're just a scary creature, but yet he takes those creatures and like elaborates on them and creates characters that go around the creature that are very notable and makes it memorable. Like personally, I haven't watched really any of the classic Spielberg movies, but like you can tell me what it is and I'll know what it's about.
Yeah.
Like Jurassic Park, I know obviously what it's about. Like he owns half of the rides at Universal, basically.
Honestly.
Like half of the rides of Universal are Steven Spielberg rides or movies, because that's how classic he is in the scene.
Yeah.
I just want to know like how long it took him to like break out. Like was Jaws his first one, or was he like making short films and then he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna make a shark movie and hopefully it does something, and then everyone was like, I love this movie.
I'm not too keen on like this whole backstory, but like with like I think Jaws was the one that like kind of brought him out. I'm not too sure. Let me not say anything.
Yeah, I think Jaws was like his first like breakout.
Yeah,
sensation.
or at least his first like thriller, I think.
Yeah. What about you?
I almost forgot I was gonna say over here. No, my favorite. I had to think for a moment. You know, when it comes to directors, it was taking me a minute, but if I have to choose a director, I really enjoy like Michael Bay movies. You know, Transformers. I just love all that. But actors, my number one favorite actor is Channing Tatum.
Yes.
For several reasons. One is obvious. I mean, he's easy on the eye, aesthetically pleasing. Yeah. He's a great dancer, and I mean, he's a great actor. He's close to my age. Call me. And then Jason Sudeikis. He is like from We're the Millers, for example. He is hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said earlier, I love to laugh, and when you watch a movie that's got Jason Sudeikis in it, even if he's just like not even the leading role, you're going to laugh.
Yeah.
Like, and that's my jam.
I feel like both of those actors are like typecasted. Yes. Like when you want to think of like Channing Tatum, most of the movies that he's in is kind of like the dorky like jock guy, but it's also like really really funny because like a lot of people don't expect this like big muscly guy to be like actually kind of funny. Especially I remember like my first movie I watched with him in it, obviously I probably shouldn't have watched it when I was this young, but 21 Jump Street.
Oh yeah,
so funny. So funny because I wouldn't expect him to like match Jonah Hill on a comedic level. So
what is the movie? There is a movie that he was in, and I saw it again recently, Channing Tatum, and he is like somebody's pet, basically. I can't remember if it's like Ready Player One. I don't remember what it is, and he's like on a leash.
I would not
know. And he's
know.
got like a mask on and stuff. I cannot remember. Maybe
What stuff do you be watching in your free time?
You don't even know. Y'all don't want to see my like Netflix algorithm or any of that. I'm weird, but you know what? I own it. So hey, if your name is Karen, you have to be.
There you go.
You know? No, I don't want to talk to the manager. Yeah. But so now that we've gotten that all off our chest, we've talked about our favorite actors. Let's go into what our favorite movies are.
Sounds good.
So Malachi, get it going. What's your favorite movie of all time?
So all time is a big topic. One that has kind of come to fruition, and I've realized like never gets old for me. It's not up here, but Coraline is like one of my favorite all-time animated movies. Yes. I don't think it's a Lakia Films, Laika. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it kind of reminds me of Tim Burton just because it's stop motion and it's creepy.
I thought it was Tim Burton.
It's a misconception because Laika also made like
Like Tim Burton.
Exactly. It's a like a Tim Burton. They made Paranorman and other movies like that. They made like Cujo and the Seven Strings. I don't know. I haven't watched that one. The Two Strings. But Coraline is such a good movie. I think it is timeless because the plot isn't like all like bells and whistles and sparkles, and like it's genuinely creepy. Like I remember my mom and I were talking about it. She was like, we watched The Exorcist, the new Exorcist movie, and then we came out, and she was like, okay, you were like scared for some of the jump scares, but like I'm surprised the ending where like all like the exorcism happened didn't scare you. And I was like, you locked me in a room when I was like 7 or 8 and played Coraline on the TV, and that desensitized me from any movie, because that movie tricks people. It makes you think it's a kid's movie because it's all cartoon, but then you get to like this one like changing turning point with like the mother, and you can tell she's like there's something up with her, and then it just goes from there. Like you find out like her whole thing is that she like eats the kids, and like she's trying to lure kids in and like give them all this stuff, and it's basically about it's a good lesson, like don't talk to strangers. Honestly. Like don't talk to strangers. Yeah, it's creepy. They had it in the movie theater like a couple weeks back, and I was like, you know what, I'm paying to watch it. Yeah. But
so it's not a kids movie?
It is for kids. There's no like cussing or anything, but like the scare factor is a little bit like heightened, I guess.
And also my daughter used to love that movie, and now I'm questioning if I was a good parent.
No.
I think it's a good one to watch.
Lesson.
Yeah, it's a life lesson. It's a good one to watch, and I think it's like it's more realistic. Like if you watch, there's no kids horror movies right now. Yeah. There's no like Nightmare Before Christmas or anything like that. Even like Halloween Christmas movies, because it's first of all it's stop motion, so that's hard to make, but also like they've already done so many of like the classics that we would just rather revert to like Coraline, Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride, all of these good ones instead of just making a new one. I hope they make a new one because I really like the stop motion films. I've watched like all of them, but one of my favorite new movies now, I think it won Oscar for like the best film of the year last year.
It won a couple of Oscars.
Yeah, it won a couple of Oscars. Is this one right here? Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I'm gonna not bore you with the long explanations because it's like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I barely even knew what it was about. I just went in blind, which I think is the best way to watch a movie. You go in blind. If you have it like a slight bit of interest in it, just go watch it. Don't watch any trailers or anything. But the themes of like it's about like an Asian family, and they take some of like the dynamics between like a Asian mom and her daughter, and the daughter I think is lesbian, and the mother is like disapproving and very dismissive over her daughter, and there's different family dynamics. They're going through a divorce, they're having tax problems with their business, but it takes those themes and those messages and like stretches them out in a comedic way that
but also in a very serious way as well.
Yeah, like there's one part in the movie where, because it's like the main woman, I think her name is Michelle Yeoh, I don't know what her name is in the actual movie, she's like going through different dimensions, and it's like the same thing. Like her daughter doesn't like her daughter's the villain because her daughter is filled with this rage and hate and depression for her mother, and is channeling that as like a power. It's like they take a literal thing and make it like comedic. So there's one scene where they're like fighting and they're going through all the dimensions, and then they turn into rocks. Very random, but it's like one of the saddest scenes I've ever seen. It's really just two rocks, and they're not talking because it's just rocks on like the Grand Canyon, and it's like the most like, peaceful, beautiful scene. And then the script is just on the screen, and you're reading it, and it's like her talking about like in any dimension. The mom saying like in any dimension, I would still want to be here with you, even if we were still two rocks sitting on the Grand Canyon. Like I know I've been dismissive of you, but through this fighting, I don't want to do this anymore, because it is so taxing, and if we're doing this in every single dimension, I feel bad for all of the other variants of us that are fighting, so I'd rather just be sitting here as a rock with you. And then they like fall down the cliff together. Like it's like so sad. I looked over at my friend that has like shown no emotion, and she was like sobbing.
Wow.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. There's some I feel like there's some comedic elements that you would like, because there's some raunchy stuff in there too. I think it's really, really funny. I showed my mom it. I was like, I feel like you should watch this, and she wasn't into it because it's very like hee hee ha ha for like the first like 30 minutes, but then once you get to the ending, they really lock in with the themes.
Ending.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a beautiful ending. It really ties everything together, and just I was bawling through the end of it. Honestly, it was so beautiful. But my favorite film is one of the classics, Jurassic Park, and just from like the aspect of being like a movie nerd and like knowing like how they made it and all this stuff, and especially with how they made the sounds of the animals, with adding just different types of animals, and like for instance, the T-Rex was made from the voice of like a baby elephant, and actually I have a list of especially like for okay, so like this, like the footsteps of the T-Rex was just trees falling, and they mixed a whale, alligator, elephant, and a lion to make the roar of the T-Rex.
That is so cool.
It's just like crazy stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's like things that we already have in the world, and we're like using it to our advantage.
To make like, just because everyone loves dinosaurs, and like nobody knows what they sound like. So, and like giving that aspect of the movie also is terrifying and was just crazy. So that's why like Jurassic Park is my favorite.
I saw that movie in theaters when it first came out.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it just celebrated, I might have the year wrong, but it's either the 30th anniversary or like the 50th anniversary or something like
Not
that.
50th.
Maybe.
Goodness
No, I
gracious!
think it's
How old do you think I am?
I think it was Jurassic Park just celebrated its 30th, and then
More like it, yes.
and then The Exorcist just had its 50th.
Yes.
There's a lot of movie anniversures that I've been seeing around.
You aged me by like a lot.
I'm doing it unintentionally.
Yeah.
Sure.
What about your favorite movies?
Well, it was, it's so hard to just name a few, because I love comedies. I like movies that have a deep meaning. There's so many, but I had to narrow it down. So I chose for my first one Vacation, the new Vacation. The National Lampoon's Vacation, the one from 2015. It stars Ed Helms, Christina Applegate. It is so funny. Like, there is a scene where he because they're going on a vacation.
Okay.
Like, he wants to relive, the vacations with his dad, because has Chevy Chase is in the movie too, and I cannot remember the mother's name, but it's the same lady from back in the day. He wants to relive, the vacations that he would go on as a kid, and so he wants to take his kids to Wally World.
Okay.
And he goes and rents this car. Well, it's Memorial Day weekend. And so all the good cars are gone. The only thing they have is a tartan Prancer. And he's like, it's the Honda of Albania. And it has it's so funny because he's like, it has 6 ashtrays. I hope you like smoking. I mean, just all kind of stuff. Like the key fob has got so many different buttons. There's like a swastika. That's like one of them. She's like, what's that button do? He's like, we're not going to use that. So, I mean, that movie alone, I've watched it like countless times, and I just continuously laugh.
I didn't know that it was like a spinoff or like a sequel type thing of the Lampoon's Vacation.
Yes, you got to watch it.
I just thought it was just like a random like Ed Helms film, because I know he has like a lot of just like single individual films, but. And
then it's a continuation. And so then I wish I would have brought this other one because I actually have it. A Channing Tatum movie. Who would have guessed? My favorite is Magic Mike XXL. OMG. Yes. Girl, come on. If y'all have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. That last dance scene. Yes. That's all I got to say about that.
I don't think we can, for legal reasons, elaborate on what.
No, but it is great. I mean, we're all grown here. I'm not going to go into detail, but
we know what it's about.
Yes, yes. But it's about that time. That's all we've got for today on today's episode. So tune in next week where we will talk about our favorite technology. So see you next time.